Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. You know, I was thinking the other day that I even hate the basketball game, horse. Even the game called Horse. I ruined the joke. I hate that. I'd rather invent another game called basketball or something like that. That seems way more fun than horse. Additionally, we have to spell out the word of one of the most evil creatures placed on this earth. All right? And so I'd rather play pig. I only got about 10 minutes anyway. Man, I blew the joke. I tried to get the basketball reference in there. Man, I'm sorry. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio, such as it is. I'm the Madman. I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. I have a Patreon. Go ahead. Become a patron today. Hashtag Shock Monkey Radio if you want to send me money on Cash App. And you can follow me on social media over here. Boy, I really screwed up that first one and threw off my whole rhythm. I'm angry now. All right, I'm over it. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. Got some news for you. I'm not going to be here next week. There's going to be no show next week. I'm going on vacation with my family. We like to go off season. It's cheaper. Nothing wrong with living frugally. And so, no show next week. I may do stuff on like social media, stuff like, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know. Depends how bored I get. But my niece was like, bring your ukulele. So we may be jamming together. She plays guitar. So we'll be jamming at the beach. Yeah. What else? I got a little studio warming gift for EK. Since we moved into the new studio. Check that out. This is the Shock Monkey Radio official dartboard. It's going to be up here in the studio. If you ever want to come and just you really hate me and you want to throw darts at this guy's face, I get it. So we got this nice brand new cork dartboard. I wonder how the paint's going to last over time. It comes with these two sets of darts, a little Union Jack for you British friends, and the good old glory national ensign. The symbol of this wonderful country that helped me through the darkest times of being in the Navy. Why am I doing this? And I look up at that flag. I'm like, oh, that's why. Because I love my country. Yeah, man, I'm kicking myself over that pig joke. Screwed it up. Rehearsing it in the shower and everything. Are we ready to do pictures? Okay. It occurred to me that there's people out there who write books about how to breed horses. And I just did a cursory look this morning at the kind of books that people write about breeding horses. And I don't know what to make of them. Like this one book, The Quarter Running Horse. Just one of them. There's hundreds of them. People writing about horses and how to breed them and the tradition of breeding them. And how do you do it? How do you sit there and think about horses this much and not hate them? The only reason I think about them this much is because I hate them. It's mind-blowing to me. And I don't really know what to do about these people who are populating the world with the most evil creatures on earth. They're lost. They've been brainwashed by the horses to do their dirty work. Literally, the dirty work. To the point where, look into how horse breeding is done. All right? And don't tell me that those people aren't brainwashed by the horses. Think about what you're doing for and to the horses. Okay? It's insane. And I don't know what to do about these people. Should I hate them as well? Are they considered lost? No, the horses are all lost. But the human beings who have been brainwashed by these horses, there's something we could do about it. We can bring them back to the light. You know what I'm saying? We could bring them away from the cusp of destroying humanity by populating the world with horses. I don't know. It seems like, what do we do about these people? I don't know. Sorry about this crappy show. It could have been worse, I'm done talking about the horses. It gets to the point where people are like, you didn't talk about the horses last week. And I'm sorry. So I feel obligated to talk about them in some capacity. And this week, that's what I was thinking about. It's like, man, just flipping through Amazon, like, look at all these books these idiots wrote about horses. Anyway, it could have been much worse. I could still have my stutter. You know, back when I was like 12 or 13, I used to have a stutter. And I got over it. I fixed it through will. You know you can do that, right? Anyway, I didn't even have to go to speech therapy or anything like that. Just figured it out, you know? And how I figured it out is real simple. You want to know how to beat a stutter if you have a kid who's stuttering? It's really quite simple. Teach them to sing. Singing is the way to, like, add time. It gives a stutterer time. You know, because you've seen that. I'm sure you've seen that. Some person who stutters a lot can get up there and they just belt out a beautiful rendition of, what's that really good Heart song? Alone. Yeah. I said it at the same time. Alone by Heart. And they belt it out and they come down, think it was good. And it's like, why can't you sing it so perfectly? Why is speaking so much different? And it's not. And it's just adding time, you know? And that's what music is. Music, if it's just like a note, right? You don't know if it's a half note, quarter note, anything like that, if it's a stationary moment in time. But music is over time. And speech is also over time, but speech isn't really taught in that way in many respects. And so when it comes to learning how to speak correctly without a stutter, without like any, is you add time by singing. All right? It's A, B, C. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Do, re, mi, A, B. You know what I'm saying? Still, you get a little bit of remnants of my stutter here and there. But in singing, when you sing, you are cognizant of time. You're cognizant, like actively cognizant of the past, present, and the future. All right? And you need to think that way when you're speaking. And so basically, when it comes down to learning how to defeat a stutter I affected it. So now I'm doing it more. And so when it comes to like learning how time, past, present, and future when speaking, you need to have like just a basic rhythm in your mind. So you can like and then you could like, if you have this rhythm in your mind, is like base it around your heartbeat or something like that. And this is the tempo of the meter of my speaking. This is how I'm going to do it. This is like A, B, C. It's hard to do. I'm trying to do a song. It's like, donde está la biblioteca? And you start speaking in a rhythm, and then it's easier to just like speak slower, and you just slow down the tempo, and you're like a jazz drummer, and you're like, donde está la biblioteca? You know what I'm saying? It could really help you. I mean, even if you're learning Spanish. And so, I mean, I don't know, it just seemed simple to me. It seemed obvious to me. And people who stutter, they have this urge to, what's the word? Do that. To let silence happen. It's the same thing with when people, even like myself, go, or it's that kind of thing. It's a stalling tactic. But you need to take a book out of the page of Paul Harvey and say, hey, silence is okay sometimes. Let a pause happen. Let a message sink in. Give it some time. And soon, it's just all, everything you do. It's like you're walking around town, you got a beat in your head. You're like, yeah, this is the way I'm talking today. This is the way I'm talking today. Hey, man, when are we going to game again? We still got this campaign to do. You're like, what's wrong with that guy? Or it's kind of like that girl from Josie and the Pussycat. Josie and the Pussycats, I think her name was Melody. And when the word bubbles around everything she's saying, there's little notes, like she's singing everything she said, which I thought was incredibly endearing. Plus, I mean, Josie and the Pussycats, they all like have a special place in my heart. The comic book ones, okay? That Riverdale, ugh. Rivervale, what was that show? Ugh. Anyway. And so eventually you could just like, base everything off this rhythm in your head, in your heart, and then next thing you know, everything's like And that help you say anything. You know, like the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum. The words I love you rolling off my tongue. Oh, never will I roam, for I know my place is home. When the ocean meets the sky, I'll be sailing. And you can speak, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Rod Stewart. You just told me you love me. You told me you love me. And you know your home is here. Why are you sailing away? You're a liar, Rod Stewart. You're a liar. Additionally, when you like learn how to like speak, you can start picking up the meter of famous people. You can start picking up the tone and the meter, the way famous people might talk. You know, like Norm Macdonald. And there are some folks who can pick up the meter of people who are speaking, famous people that you hear a lot, that you can mimic, and you pick up the meter, and it gives you all sorts of range of options when it comes to your vocal talents. After all, speaking correctly is a skill. Okay? And so if you see somebody who says, when are we going to their house? If they're saying some shit like that, that's laziness. What they do. What did they do? You're lazy. Speak correctly. It's not hard, even if you start off with a stutter, because social anxiety started hitting you. And you're like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. The girls, I'm very interested in girls, but I don't know why yet, but I want them to think well of me. And social anxiety hits you, and I'm sitting there reading in class with a stutter. Now look at me. Shitty YouTube channel with 200 some subscribers. Moving up in the world. Rod Stewart's a liar. Tell everybody. All right, we're going to get serious for a bit. Huh? What'd you say? You said, are you sure?
Tell Rod Stewart a liar. He showed up.
Oh. That's a picture from the video, isn't it? Oh, Reamer, looking longingly at Rod Stewart. So, I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm going to get serious, and I know a lot of people are sitting there. Wait, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Seriously, I am going to be serious for a bit. You want to go to the dark screen? I just want to pull up a picture of Charlie. Lord God, I'm going to speak to about your servant, Charlie Kirk. Please give me the words to say everything I need to say. Amen. I've been doing a lot of that lately, a lot of praying lately. And I was talking to somebody, and they said, I couldn't do what you do, talking to me. Sitting there, talk for an hour. And I talked about how I used to have a stutter and stuff like that. And he's like, he's like, I couldn't just sit there and talk stream of consciousness, which I do. You should see how minimal my notes are. And most of it is just pictures. And so I couldn't do that, he said. And so, but I look at Charlie Kirk and I say, I couldn't do what he did. God bless his soul, because he had a true gift of speaking and debating. Me, I'm just like lukewarm in terms of speech gifts. But this guy, he was brilliant. Now, last week during the show, obviously, we're in the News Worth Knowing, and the news broke that Charlie Kirk was shot. And I didn't want to delve into it at the time. Usually when something tragic like that happens, you don't have all the information until probably a week later. And even then, we still don't have all the information. So I didn't want to grab a hold of that story and start running with it, even though, just like everyone else on this planet, when they heard Charlie Kirk was shot, it's like, oh, some trans person probably shot him. And we were wrong. Turns out it was a crazy boyfriend of a crazy trans person that shot him. And whoops. But, we all knew what was up. We all knew who it was. My joke, I did this joke. It didn't really fly very well. I guess it's too racist. But the joke I did was that, I heard Charlie Kirk was shot. The first thing I thought was like, black guy. And then I heard there was a rifle that he shot. And it's like, oh, white guy. It was Charlie Kirk was the target. That means tranny. All right. And so this guy, like so many other people like myself who are conservative, or as I should start saying, are not brainwashed by the media and the academic class, you know, of course, Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA videos would come up in my feed on YouTube and so forth, you know, quite frequently in social media. And I'd love to see it. I love to watch it. And I love that, you know, he's just killing their talking points left and right, just knocking them out, just boom, boom, boom. Everything they're saying. I'm not going to go into all the details of the things that Charlie Kirk has said, but you know, there's a lot of people out there like taking very, you know, selective clips of stuff he said and trying to turn it into something bad or evil and stuff like that. And the reaction of liberals in my own social media circles, the reaction to his death is it is beyond disgusting. It is despicable. It is evil. And a lot of the praying I've been doing, of course, has been for the Kirk family, but a lot of it has been for our nation as a whole. It's hard to look at that picture. What they've done is shown that they are serious. They've been talking this rhetoric for a long time to kill Nazis like Charlie Kirk, kill Nazis like Ben Shapiro, which doesn't make any sense if you know anything, like Matt Walsh. They've been saying it on social media for years. They have been saying it all the time. They call us Nazis and they tell us you need to go out there and kill those Nazis. Politicians going out there and say we need to start fighting these evil Nazi conservatives. And they hang that label around us, and now everyone feels like they're a target. Everyone who is more conservative than Hillary fucking Clinton is a target. This is a political assassination, and pretending that it's not is, what's the word, duplicitous. It's a lie. These liberals are out there every day on social media, on places like Reddit and Blue Sky and stuff like that, celebrating a storm about the death of Charlie Kirk, and even throwing out more names of who else needs to die. They say that on social media all the time. But if I'm here on my YouTube channel and I say something like, you better choke the tranny in your town before it shoots up a school near you, I'm the bad guy. Because these transgender idiots are clearly mentally ill, and for some reason the medical community says, no, they're fine, and now they've unleashed these weird socialist radicals everywhere in this country, and they think that they're being genocided by people like Charlie Kirk, of all people. Charlie Kirk, a man that I didn't watch a whole lot of his stuff because I do not have his patience. When these idiots come up there and start spewing their nonsense, I couldn't sit in that chair and care about them enough. He would sit there in that chair and care about them enough to try to help them, to try to give them a little truth. So they stop living this lie. He didn't graduate college or anything. And he's coming down there and he's debating college students. He's debating college professors. All right. And this is what I'm talking about with the liberalism and the Marxism that is shoved down these students' throats at these centers of higher learning. All right. They know Charlie Kirk is coming to campus, and so all those weather underground has-beens who are now running every single university in this country are cramming down this Marxist bullshit down these students' throats and forcing their little foot soldiers out there to debate Charlie Kirk. And don't tell me there hasn't been some college professor out there that just offhandedly says, I wish somebody would just shoot that guy. And there's maybe some guy in the classroom going, I suppose I could do that. Don't tell me that has never happened in the halls of academia. Leftist violence, political violence, is a majority of all political violence in the history of Earth. They're pretending that we're Nazis, that we're the violent ones. Charlie Kirk didn't want to stop anyone from being gay. He would talk to you about how you should stop being gay, how you should stop being trans. He would talk to you about that, but it's not like he would okay, you're not going to be trans. I'm going to go find a rooftop and take care of it for you. That is not who Charlie Kirk was. That is not who the right is. That's not how conservatives are. We are not the monsters that you actually are. Destroying this family. Destroying it. Those kids are tiny. The youngest probably won't even remember his father. And you have lit a fire under the Christians, most of all. And I think this is the most important aspect of this. Charlie Kirk was out there shooting down every single one of their major talking points of the liberal nonsense, bullshit, Marxist shit that they're constantly spewing. Shooting it down, boom, 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 every single point with facts and logic. And they couldn't stand it because he was converting people. They started looking at their lives. They started looking at the Bible. And believe me, this is like the biggest aspect of it for so many people, is the fact that Charlie Kirk talked about his faith openly, frequently, and told people that they should look into Christianity for themselves. You want to find some answers? There's plenty of answers in the Bible. You just got to go look for them. Go read it. Go read it and meditate upon it. Pray upon it. You'll find the answers you seek. Seek and ye shall find. That's in there. But the largest tool, the biggest, most important and silent tool of every Marxist, every communist, every socialist is atheism. And anyone who talks about religion, even on a YouTube channel such as this, people get turned off, oh, he's talking about religion again, so they stop watching the video. They get turned off by it because they're godless heathens. And let me tell you something. There's a verse in the Bible, you cannot serve two masters. All right? And your master should be the Lord thy God. All right? But if you're like, I don't know, Joseph Stalin and an atheist, or you're Mao Zedong and an atheist, and it results in tens of millions of people dying because you don't believe in a God that will punish you. That's what happens. When you say that there is no God, then there's only one of two authorities. That is thyself. You, yourself, are the only God in the world. Or it is the state. And sooner or later, the state is going to tell you that they are the God, that you are not the God. All right? And that's the problem with communism. That's the problem with socialism. That's the problem with this Marxist shit. And they're trying to bring it and make it happen in this country. And every time you talk about an Ilhan Omar talking about socialism, or what's his name, Zoran Mandani talking about socialism, they don't care about socialism. They just want to bring down the great Satan. All right, Islam's a whole different story altogether. All right, and speaking of other stories this week, because I don't want what's her name, Irina Zerkova? Forgive me if I got the name wrong from memory. But the day before, or that day I was talking about the story, or a couple days before, she was murdered on a train by a crazy junkie who'd been caught 14 times for violent crimes previous. And these two issues that happened over this past week, where the girl was murdered by a crazy junkie, we start talking about the mental health issue and the fact that the police aren't putting evil people in jail. That's a big factor in all these issues. So I'm still stuttering now. And then Charlie Kirk gets murdered, and now all of a sudden the biggest issues of this country are now front and center. Immigration is not as big an issue anymore. I don't know if you noticed. But now front and center, we got crazy criminals who have a severe record, who are out walking the streets murdering people. And you have mentally ill people, also known as trans, who are somehow not classified as mentally ill anymore. And they're allowed to buy guns. They're allowed to go out around like threatening to kill people on social media. But I'm the bad guy if I say you got to choke a tranny before it shoots up your school. I'm the bad guy. I should be canceled. It's a strange double standard. And these people who think that like socialism is going to work somewhere on this earth, you are dead fucking wrong. You can say what you want about what the FBI was doing in the 50s and so forth, like J. Edgar Hoover and like chasing down communists and so forth. You can say like bad things about McCarthyism, where they're starting to check people's loyalty. in Congress. I think Congress is more important than like, say, like an actor or something like go to Hollywood and say, it's more important that you're in Congress. So I think maybe a little bit of McCarthyism is in order to, like, to grill Ilhan Omar to find out exactly where her loyalties are, because it's not America. And so you can say what you want about that era, but there was a time when we took the threat of communism seriously. And I think it was after Korea and Vietnam, people were like, oh, communism ain't so bad. We don't need to go to war because of Vietnam is, screw that. I understand Vietnam. I understand America's involvement in Vietnam. I understand it more than World War I. Some guy's on the way to a party and some jackass shoots him, and the whole world's got to go to war? What the fuck? What the hell? And like many people, I'm heartbroken. I'm concerned. I've been praying for the country, been praying for the Kirk family. And but you lit a fire under the Christians, under the white Christians. All right? I know that scares a lot of you. All right? But we know we're being hunted and targeted now. Those two incidents, Irina on the train and Charlie Kirk now, is that we are not safe. Both white people, by the way. We are not safe. We are being hunted. Whether you're Charlie Kirk and you have an opinion, or you're just some rando chick on a train who has never seemed to express any real political opinion whatsoever, we're all being targeted. Everybody's waking up. And that's why you start seeing all over the world all these rallies, all over the world. Rallies and vigils, prayer vigils for Charlie Kirk. And it's beautiful. It really is. Now, I was watching Gavin McInnes' show last night. He was in London when they did a march. You probably haven't heard about this on media because BBC's probably being quiet about this. But millions of people took to the streets, and I heard people chanting Christ is King in London. All right? Millions of people. Go look it up. Go look it up. Or maybe Gavin McInnes pulled off a big trick on me because he had a lot of video and pictures of tons of people in London saying, we're tired of it. We're very sick of it. And these people who are getting fired for like celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, they're whining and like the left's like, you're cancel culture. Fuck you. The gloves are off. You are trying to kill us. Well, here's a fun fact for you. I don't want to kill you. I just want to change your mind. Like Charlie Kirk. I didn't have the guts to do what he did. To stand there face to face with these idiots? I don't have the patience for it. Look how angry I'm getting right now. And if you come up and saying some nonsense to me, like recently I had an argument with somebody, like talking about this subject, and they're like, I said, I'm sick of your racist stuff. It's like, this is what he said about the civil rights movement. And it's like, yeah, the civil rights movement was a very bad thing for black people ultimately. Okay? Because now look at the black family. Before the civil rights movement, you had families, you had fathers in the homes. They were way less involved in crime. Your culture wasn't about crime. All right? You weren't drawing so much money off the government. You owned your own homes, owned your own property. Here we are so many years later after the civil rights movement, and you're all being taking checks from the government. Fathers aren't in the home, and that just leads to more crime and poverty. And the Democrats did that to you on purpose. All right? You can say what you want about this stuff, but this person I was talking to, I said, I'm sick of your racist shit. And they're like, and what they said was, I can't be racist, I'm black. Unfriended. I don't like doing that. I really don't like doing that. But when you say something absurd like that, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. Oh, God. Because racism is thinking you're a racist superior. And when you think you're racist superior to racism because of the nature of your race, that's racism. You see what it's like, a quadruple loop? It's like a quadruple negative. You know what I mean? It just sounds like socialism with extra steps. Anyway. All right. rest well, good and faithful servant, Charlie Kirk. Praying for your family, praying for America, praying for Turning Point USA. Because they are unbound, what's that? Unbent, unbroken. We're running a little long, but I don't have to go to work today. Our boat got boarded by the Coast Guard. We'll do a movie review, cheer it up a little bit before we get into the news, and then we're going to bad mood again, and then we'll cheer it up with the happier news at the end. How about that? We may go a little long. Is that okay? You got another customer coming? You're good? Okay. All right, let's do Heartbreakers, 2001 movie. Romantic movies generally don't do it for me. But this is a romantic comedy, and putting romance into comedy is always a good idea. It's more likely to get guys to go watch it. And this movie is quite funny. Jennifer Love Hewitt, you would think, wouldn't have many comedic chops, but she's actually not. She's actually a very good actress. You know, not even when I take stars off at the end of this movie, into this movie review, it's because of how distracting Jennifer Love Hewitt is in this movie. There's too many times with Jennifer Love Hewitt in a bikini, and I have to rewind the scene because what were they talking about? I missed it. Jennifer Love Hewitt in 2001. Whew. Sigourney Weaver looked pretty good too, you know, in this movie. All right, so there are a couple of con girls. They romance rich men and get them to marry them, and then they frame them for infidelity, and they get like half his money. That's their con. All right, so there are a couple of con women, and they go around like marrying guys and stuff like that. And it's a shame I couldn't find a picture with Ray Liotta on it because he's in this, Jason Lee's in this, and obviously Gene Hackman. But I guess they put the biggest names on, and the hottest chicks obviously always going. And so at the beginning of the movie, it starts with Sigourney Weaver marrying a Ray Liotta's character, and Ray Liotta's character, he's got like a chop shop. You know, he's a city guy who steals cars and chops them up and stuff like that. It's an illegal business, obviously. But obviously he's got like he's got to account for it in some legal way, you know, under the table kind of things. And so, but he marries Sigourney Weaver's character, but she's like, she says, I'm super religious, no sex before marriage, right? And so they get married, and he's like, let's do this. I've never waited so long for a chick, you know, that kind of thing. And she's like, teasing him more and more and more, and he's like, and then she pretends to fall asleep, and he's like, ugh. It's hilarious. She's really cock teasing him, if you know what I mean. And he's incredibly frustrated, and this is all intentional. Sigourney Weaver's doing this all intentionally. And so Ray Liotta goes to the office in the morning where Jennifer Love Hewitt is working as his secretary, all right? And she's wearing this cute little gray dress, and she's like bent, I dropped the papers and stuff like that. And Ray Liotta, being a man, couldn't resist. And then at that moment, that's like when Sigourney Weaver's supposed to come in and catch them, and then it's over, and then she takes him to court, gets half his money. That works. All right? And there's a subplot with Jennifer Love Hewitt wants to go out on her own because it's a mother and daughter team. That's mother and daughter in the movie. They're not really, I don't think. So, Jennifer Love Hewitt wants to go out on her own, and her mother's like, no, I want to keep you. She's a mom and wants to keep her around. And so there's this thing that happens where they lost all their money, and she's like, fine, we got to do one more job. I want it to be big. So they pick in Palm Beach, Florida. They go to and they pick out this tobacco baron played by Gene Hackman, who is just excellent at playing a revolting person. I mean, I'm a smoker, but this guy is like a chain smoker and vicious, and apparently doesn't own a toothbrush. And it must have been a fun character for him to play, you know, because it's just revolting. And so Sigourney Weaver pretends to be a Russian chick. Speaks in Russian. I don't know how to say, you know, that kind of stuff all the time, and like makes inroads with Gene Hackman in order to get his millions and so forth. And Jennifer Love Hewitt she's thinking she wants to do her own con while this is going on, but she ends up like meeting Jason Lee, and like feelings start sparking between them or something like that. And And they've obviously took Ray Liotta's money and were long gone. And Ray Liotta's just moping about his chop shop, it's like, doesn't know. It's like, he's heartbroken, literally heartbroken. And it's like, I never really cared about anyone this much. Why do I keep thinking about her? And his friend is like, she's the only girl that ever dumped you. And he's like, oh. So Ray Liotta like realizes he loves her and goes and tries to find her. Find her he does. And it's also these moments where Sigourney Weaver's like, oh, he wasn't so bad. Oh, he wasn't so terrible. She kind of liked him, And then finally he finds her and he like just professes his love and like offers her a ring. I want to marry you again. I want to marry you again. It's really kind of cute. If anything, Ray Liotta is my favorite character in this movie because he has like the best character arc, right? But then he starts to get involved. Sigourney Weaver's sort of flatter, and he starts getting involved with these ladies again, and he realizes what they're up to. It's like, oh, you're running another con like this again. So he gets involved with their criminal enterprise, but the whole time he's with them, he's like, see, it hurts when you mess with people's feelings, isn't it? It's stuff like that. And Ray Liotta, he drops a few pearls of wisdom in the movie when talking like with Sigourney Weaver, because they kind of like develop a relationship. They liked each other, and genuinely liked each other. And the same thing happened with Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jason Lee. I was thinking Jennifer Jason Lee. And so that's like the romance angles between Ray Liotta and Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Jason Lee. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jason Lee. And, they're trying to work this con. I don't want to spoil the ending. Just say happily ever after. Let's just say that. Like any good romance should. And so it's a fun movie. It takes these awful people and it kind of like holds up a mirror to them during the course of the movie where they take a good look at themselves and like what they're doing, and that it's evil, yeah, it could be easy money, but it's evil, toying with people's feelings and stuff like that. And, it's not good. So, Heartbreakers, 2001 movie, 9 of 13 stars. Too much Jennifer Jason Leigh skin. It's distracting. And why did Jason Lee get constantly cast in these movies like this? Is he good looking or something? Because I don't get it. I really don't. All right, let's get into the news worth knowing. All right, God bless, like I said earlier, God bless Turning Point USA. Fearless Tour takes Charlie Kirk's free speech mission to colleges nationwide. The assassination of conservative influencer and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk last week has sparked renewed urgency around protecting free speech, particularly on college campuses. Kirk, who is 31 years old, I forgot to mention that, very, very young, was killed Wednesday during a campus event in Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. He leaves behind his wife, Erica, and 2 young children, who I hear were at that event when it happened. Seattle-based journalist and conservative influencer Cameron Higby, who contracts with Turning Point's front lines, is among those leading the effort to honor Kirk's legacy. He co-launched a grassroots campus tour this week with political commentator David Kate called Fearless. Quote, it's to show people that conservatives and people in general aren't afraid to go out and talk about their beliefs in the public square. Even though Charlie sat behind a table just like ours and he was shot and killed. We want to show that we're not scared, Higby told Fox News Digital. Yeah, we're not scared. Wearing Make America Great Again hats, Higby and Kate, K-H-A-I-T, is that Kate? Forgive me. Set up a booth Monday at Georgia State University with a sign that reads, nobody should be killed for their opinions. Rip Charlie. And leftist violentless debate. The next day, they kept the Kirk sign up. Kept the Kirk sign and put up a new sign that read, men cannot be women, let's talk. Higby said the tour will expand to more schools in Georgia and surrounding states with the goal of encouraging open dialogues between both sides. Some people who approached the booth engaged respectfully, Higby said, while others confronted them aggressively. Clips shared on social media showed one man calling Kirk anti-LGBTQ and was saying he was happy Kirk was killed. Another person declared Kirk deserved it and mocked him by pretending to shoot himself in the neck. They're evil. It's very sad to see this kind of thing. This is a quote. especially people who clearly know nothing about Charlie coming up to basically justify his death, Higbee said. At one point, a person snatched Kate's hat as the crowd cheered. On X, Higbee wrote that protesters also tried to take their microphones, jumped on their table, and demanded they leave. Higbee, who frequently documents Antifa activity in the Pacific Northwest, said the hostility extends beyond college campuses. He encountered protesters in Seattle at a Seattle vigil for Kirk, where one man boasted on camera that he supported Kirk's murder and would have killed him himself. Evil, evil. Higbee said he was punched in the face by two other protesters while he was covering the vigil in protest. You see, this is what I mean. That way more guts than I do. Here I am in my safe little studio. You know what I mean? Anyone comes, I know they're coming. And I'm armed. All right, so yeah, we don't need to talk much more about this. I mean, yeah, they've awoken a sleeping giant, really. Turning Point USA is going to redouble their efforts, I think, with the comments that Erica Kirk, his wife, said, has proven that we're not, you didn't scare us. You created a martyr, you know. Our martyr is Charlie Kirk, a very intelligent, loquacious young man with a young family, doing well in this world, making the world a better place, encouraging debate in America. Your martyrs are George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, junkies and criminals. Let's go on to the next story. All right, this is from mom of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. Describes a radical shift in the last year. He's more pro-gay and trans rights. This is from Orem, Utah. Taylor Robinson's mother told investigators she had watched her son change dramatically in the year leading up to the Utah college shooting of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Once a college scholarship recipient with a promising future, Robinson had become more political, leaning left and supporting pro-gay and trans rights, his mother said, according to court documents. He also recounted heated arguments between Robinson and his father, who held sharply different views and regularly sparred over their competing ideologies. At one point, she told police her son dismissed Kirk's Utah Valley University event as a stupid venue and claimed Kirk spreads, quote, too much hate. Prosecutors have now argued that political hatred was the core of Robinson's alleged actions. In court filings, they alleged that he intentionally targeted Kirk, quote, because of his political expression, and his parents recognized him from the surveillance video after the shooting. Quote, Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son, prosecutors alleged in court filings. His father confronted him and talked to him into surrendering to authorities. I'm going to think about that for a second. If your son did something like that, wouldn't like your first impulse be like to shove cash, get as much cash into his hands as possible, say, go to Canada, go to Mexico? But his dad did the right thing. Turned in his son. And from what I understand, they're Christians. And that's got to be a tough thing to do. Anyway, on with the article. Quote, as they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was a shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. That's why. They didn't want their son to kill himself. He asked why he did it, and Robinson explained that there's too much evil in the guy, Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate, which is not true. This is what the prosecutors wrote. They charged Robinson Tuesday with aggravated murder in the killing of Kirk, along with multiple related offenses. He also faces 2 counts of obstruction of justice for concealing his rifle and discarded clothing, and 2 counts of witness tampering for urging his roommate to delete texts and stay silent. His roommate was his boyfriend, by the way. Robinson was additionally charged with committing a violent offense in the presence of a child, like the child of Charlie Kirk, and prosecutors have filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. A 22-year-old from southern Utah evolved from a top high school student to a scholarship recipient to an alleged killer. Kirk, a 31-year-old, followed to. Okay, we know about that. You know, yeah, he was raised in a Christian home. He went to college and became gay and a socialist radical. And that's what's going on in academia. They're creating little radicals. And I'm telling you, these are the new Bolsheviks. the new weather underground. They're all hanging out in academia, shoving down this Marxist crap down these kids' throats, and then making these crazy, mentally ill, confused young people go out and commit acts of murder, and they can say, our hands are nowhere to be found on it. No, you have created a culture of murder in the media, in academia, everywhere. It's like anybody who has conservative thoughts is a Nazi, and we kill Nazis. We're so surprised that happened. How could it? We've only been telling them not to do that forever. All right, let's go on to this next story. I actually like this, what this woman said. Is it gone? Bad link? Yeah, try to reload it. I pulled mine up. Anyway, ex-ESPN host says messages more disturbing than ever after mourning Charlie Kirk's death. Former ESPN host Samantha Ponder revealed on social media that she received disturbing messages after she expressed her sorrow for the death of Charlie Kirk last week. Ponder, who also spoke about her concerns for the safety while riding in the New York City subway following the stabbing death of Irina Zarutska. Sorry, I got that name wrong earlier. She wrote on X that her direct messages have increasingly gotten worse since mourning the loss of 31-year-old conservative influencer. Quote, my DMs are more disturbing than ever, and trust me, that's saying something. Like, normally it's bad anyway. Oh, my goodness. Trust me, that's saying something. Apparently, the only perfect people that can be mourned when they're murdered in the 30s with a wife and young children, she wrote. When a man is shot, debating opinions with anyone for all to see, he must align with our chosen dogma perfectly. If not, he had it coming, shouldn't have said those mean things, and so you should shut up about it. Ugh. Quote, she went on to say, how can we see someone post about sadness over the death of anyone they cared about, even someone we think is flawed, and say, stop being sad about them. I didn't like their opinions. Mourn with those who mourn. If I ever see hypocrisy, let me see it in myself. If I ever see hypocrisy, let me see it in myself. I don't understand that. God forbid every word we've ever... myself before I see it in someone else. Oh, okay. Yeah, like that's, you have the mote in your eye, and you have a log in your eye. Anyway. Yep. God forbid every word we have ever spoken be a prerequisite for sympathy when we die. She's good looking. Kirk was assassinated at an event at the campus of Utah Valley, blah, blah, we know. Ponder is among sports figures who spoke about Kirk's death and mourning for his family and loved ones. Quote, I feel changed by this. At first, admittedly more fearful, she wrote on Thursday, but as I consider what's at stake for our country and our children, I am emboldened to speak the truth with love even more. You're getting prettier. And this is the paragraph I love. This is what she wrote. I spent so much of my professional career as a coward, shamefully afraid to say true things because it might jeopardize my position. One of the great things about having no position anymore is the realization that a platform is actually useless without courage. I mourn for Charlie's family. I mourn for our country. But I have renewed hope that many, like me, will find the courage to lovingly speak the truth boldly in the public square, as he often did. Now, you're incredibly beautiful for wanting to speak the truth. And this is what this event has caused. All the normies, all the people who aren't politically savvy, see this and they're like, oh shit, the left are fucking lunatics. And they have been for a while. And so they're coming in droves to churches. They're coming in droves to Turning Point USA. They're coming in droves to the conservative side because you Marxist, violent psychopaths have overplayed your hand. It's bad enough we had to listen to your fucking gibberish for the last 10 years. Men can transition to women. What the fuck are you even talking about, you psycho? All right. All right, let's talk about these friggin' Muslims real quick. Dearborn's Muslim mayor tells Christian he's not welcome in a debate honoring pro-terror air leader. At a Dearborn City Council meeting last week, Mayor Abdullah H. Hamoud told local resident Edward Ted Barham, a Christian that he was not welcome in the city after Barham raised concerns about how new street signs honoring Arab American news publisher Osama Siblani. Fox 2 Detroit reported that the signs honoring Siblani were placed at intersections on Warren Avenue by Wayne County, not the city of Dearborn. But the mayor escalated the debate, telling Barham, although you live here, you are not welcome here. Barham introduced himself as Ted Barham, Dearborn resident, and objected to two intersections being renamed after Siblani. He said he's a promoter of Hezbollah and Hamas. Before quoting pastor marks from Siblani, including, he talks about how the blood of the martyrs irrigates the land of Palestine. Whether we are in Michigan or whether we are in Yemen, believe me, everyone should fight within his means. They fight with stones. Others will fight with guns. We'll fight with planes, drones, and rockets. Yeah, that's what I call a Muslim. Barham compared the signs of the roads naming the road Hezbollah Street or Hamas Street, calling him provocative for stressing that as a Christian he wanted to encourage peace. He closed by quoting Jesus, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Council members interjected, warning Barham against personal attacks and reminding him that the city had no control over the county's decision. One clarified the sign that was placed on Warren Avenue, which was a county road, and that was done by the Wayne County executive. But Barham maintained that the issue mattered to Dearborn residents because the sign stood in their city. Mayor Hamoud responded with remarks that shocked many in attendance. Quote, "The best suggestion I have for you is not to drive on Warren Avenue and close your eyes while you're doing it. His name is up there, and I spoke at a ceremony celebrating it because he's done a lot for the community," Hamoud said. He went further, accusing Barham of being a bigot, and you're a bigot, quote, "You're a bigot, you're a racist, you're an Islamophobe," before declaring, "Although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day I'll launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city." Yeah, I don't know if you've been around the world. I don't know if you've met many people of different religions and lifestyles, cultures, and so forth. But here's the one thing I noticed about white people. They are the most tolerant people on earth. We are so tolerant that we allowed a large group of Muslims to take over an American town called Dearborn, Michigan. There's other places too. We have a freedom of religion, you know. Western culture, white Christian men ended slavery, yet we keep getting blamed for it. A worldwide institution. We're the only culture in the world that tried to and successfully ended it. White Christian men. We're so tolerant, we have allowed Muslim. We say, yeah, if you're Muslim, you want to live in this country, okay. But when it gets to the point where they start getting civic power, they want they want Sharia law like immediately. They want all Christians out of the city. The true nature of Islam rears its ugly head. All right? And I'm sorry to say it. It's like, I believe in the freedom of religion. If you want to be Mormon, fine. You want to be Jewish, fine. You want to be Christian, fine. You want to be Catholic, fine. But when it comes to these backwards, inbred, false religions, particularly Islam, it's incompatible with Western society. Sorry. Because their nature is exclusivity. And all over the world, every single race and culture is extremely tribal. Even in America, black people are tribal against everybody else. And I don't know why, I don't know why. But the tribalism has got to stop. I was thinking about, I watched this movie called Tigerland. I'm watching a lot of Vietnam War movies. It's not a very good movie. I didn't like it that much. But there's a scene where these enlisted men are getting into arguments. Somebody said in the Ed word, these two guys start fighting. A white guy and a black guy start fighting. And it brought up a memory of when I was in the Navy about how when like a racist incident would happen, two guys start fighting or something like that. And the senior enlisted, they would come in and it'd be diverse. You got a sergeant, or in my case, like a chief who's black, first class is white, And they come and they pull these kids off each other and they'd say something, this is something they said in the movie. You secure that civilian bullshit. All right. Racism is civilian bullshit. All right. It has no place in the military. And that's been true in the military for a long time. One of the most integrated longest integrated places in the United States. I think the most, yeah. And that racism is civilian bullshit to me. And it's a phrase I heard in the military, in the Navy. It is civilian bullshit. So I'm tired of it being, of racist. Everyone can come to this country and assimilate under our law. You can do that, and we'll tolerate you and welcome you. But when you start taking over our cities and you start saying, no, we want to name this street Muhammad Way and this way Muhammad Avenue. And how do you get anywhere in the city? You take Muhammad Avenue to Muhammad Street, then you go to East Muhammad Avenue, Northwest, That's a problem. You can't allow that to happen. I know we've had like Chinatowns for a long time, but I mean, I'm tired of this non-assimilation. You unite under American principles. You unite under Christian principles. Anyway, 3 o'clock. Let's get into the happier stories. What do you say? Then we'll walk out of here. I'm going to make some calls about that boat. I don't know if a guy got arrested or with the Coast Guard or whatever. Anyway. Yeah, we're going to UPI. I kind of fished out the odd news from Fox News. So we're going to UPI for odd news. Florida woman punches alligator to rescue her dog. Do you have the guts to do that? September 15th from UPI, a Florida woman was taking her dog for a walk near a creek, ended up punching an alligator in the face to rescue the canine from the predator's jaws. Land O'Lakes resident Danny Wright, said she and her 4-month-old Shih Tzu, Dax, would you name him after that weird chick from what was that, Voyager? Anyway. We're walking along a stagnant creek behind her house where a 5-foot alligator struck. I turned and looked, and the alligator had him? Wright told the New York Times, and the alligator's front teeth were through the collar of my dog. Oh, my goodness, a Shih Tzu? The alligator started dragging Dax into the water, leading Wright to fight back. Did you jump in the water? I just punched him and punched and punched. She told WTSP TV. I punched him in the eye, and that was enough to let him go. He unclamped a little. I pulled it off, but his teeth dragged down my arm. You were wounded too. Wright said was able to flip the alligator onto its back, allowing her and Dax to flee inside the house. That's technically a win. You want to fight versus an alligator. She recorded video of the gator lurking behind her home after the attack. It's probably out back thinking, how am I going to face my friends? The alligator was removed from the property of a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission trappers. Wright urged other pet owners to be cautious in areas where gators can easily camouflage. No kidding. Just be careful with your dogs. You know these alligators are no joke, Wright said. 15 feet. Came out to get him. I didn't see him. Would you do that for your dog? Fight an alligator? This lady fought an alligator and won. Wow. I don't know. I guess I would do it. I guess I would fight the alligator. I guess I wouldn't be living in Florida. Even if apparently they got no income tax. I heard that. And there's talk they may not have any personal property tax. I don't know. Maybe northern Florida. Maybe it's Tallahassee or something like that. Could be. Is there Fredericksburg, Florida? Anyway. Let's go on to this last story. I think EK had to run to the restroom. But if I got to get up and end the show, I'll end the show. Don't you worry. All right, I hear you. He's like, almost there. All right, so I find this story to be hilarious. Cheating scandal nearly sinks World Stone-Skimming Championships. Pinch it quick, EK. September 16th from UPI. Close ad. More ads on this site. Organizers of the World Stone-Skimming Championships in Scotland said a cheating scandal led to the disqualification of several competitors. This is wild. The World Stone-Skimming Championships, an annual celebration of the sport, also known as stone skipping, in America anyway, is held every September on the western Scotland island of Eastdale. Why is it the first time I'm hearing about this? The rules of competition require stones thrown by competitors to skim across the surface of the water to be naturally occurring slate from the island. I assume from Ireland, or Scotland. I mean, or the island they do it on. I'm stupid. Several competitors in this year's event were found to be wielding rocks that appeared to have been shaped and smoothed by machine. Oh man! Some of the stones appeared to have artificial notches created to add aid in throwing. If you have a little notch on a rock, that adds a little more spin. Further it can go. I got calls from concerned competitors. They're looking at their stones, huh? There were people might think that that's how things are done here. Kyle Matthews, the event's toss master. And he's a Scottish accent. Is that Scottish? Got a Scottish accent. I'm the toss master. Sorry. I'm sorry. I contacted the individuals who admitted their transgressions, and I had to disqualify them. To give them their credit, they deeply apologized for bringing the sport into disrepute and accepted disqualification and accept that that's the end of the matter. They're just like, you caught us. Matthews said organizers are considering new rules for future competitions requiring participants to choose from stones selected by officials instead of finding their own. The World Stone-Skimming Championship does not have any cash prizes, but the winner does receive a trophy. The first round of competition features competitors attempting to skip their stones across the surface of the water to a back wall of the quarry at a distance of about 206 feet. Well, I couldn't even qualify for this, huh? Those who qualify for the second round engage in a toss-off to determine the winner. It's not as dirty as it sounds. Kentucky man Jonathan Jennings became the competition's first ever American winner in the adult male category for this year's event. Lucy Woods won the adult female category for the sixth time. I want to get the stats. I wonder if like a 13-year-old boy in the like juvenile youth category, male youth category, are they better than like adult men? You wonder? It's a good question. Their arms are skinnier. What if you get like Tommy John surgery? Since you're speaking about juiced balls, what if you get Tommy John surgery? Are you allowed to participate in this? The world's a cool place, you know what I'm saying? We do interesting things. We're interesting creatures. And I like us. And the love of God flows down into me. And usually it comes out in jocularity, making jokes, goofing around, laughing. But it also comes at the love that I give you at the end of every show, which is right around now. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I'd very much appreciate it. I also have a Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. You can send me money that way. You can follow me on social media over here at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. Or at SLRobbins13 on Instagram. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Shock Monkey Radio Redux. Yeah, this has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.